Two teams are into the Fab Four already, College of Idaho and OUAZ, but two more spots remain. And the third one will be decided in the Dewar Quadrant between the top-seeded Lancers of Grace and the number 3 seed Georgetown Tigers. Nate Gatter back with you from Municipal Auditorium in downtown Kansas City. Georgetown is into the quarterfinals thanks to a 74-60 win over Langston, and it was thanks more than anything else to Kyron Jones, who powered things for Georgetown with 21 points and 15 rebounds, a monster in the middle. But he's going to meet another monster in the middle this evening, because Grace has one of its own. Elijah Malone, 6'10", and he dominated with 19 points. He blocked 6 shots. He added 5 rebounds. He only missed 3 times from the field in an eventual blowout win for Grace by 19 points over Freed Hardman. Grace comes in at 31-3, the number 4 team in the country in the final NAIA coaches poll. One of 3 number 1 seeds still standing among the 6 teams remaining. One of them, College of Idaho, already through to the Fab Four. Georgetown 29-5, 18-4 in the Mid-South Conference, looking for another berth in the Fab Four, the most decorated team in NAIA basketball history. In its 42nd NAIA tournament, its 32nd in a row. The Tigers, national champions in 2019, one of 3 on their resume, and trying to get back to the Fab Four for the first time since. Stoltzfus steps in and hits the first jumper of the game. Carter Stoltzfus, the sophomore from Middlebury, Indiana, joined by the Gibbs brothers, Cade and Jacob, along with the aforementioned Malone and Frankie Davidson in white, the starting 5 for Grace. There's Jake Ulmer, fall-away jumper off the mark, and rebounded by Malone. Pushes the pace to Cade Gibbs. He finds Jacob for 3, off the front iron, long rebound, tracked down by Malone. Georgetown, the lower seed in black. Stoltzfus triggers a 3, can't get it, and there's the first rebound for Kyron Jones, who we told you about at the outset. 21 in black, he charges in on Malone. First effort blocked, and then a traveler, and he left his feet without a plan. Chris Briggs is in his 12th season leading Georgetown, or his 11th, I should say, and look at that record, almost 300 wins as the Tigers coach. His starting 5, along with Jones, has Drew Lamont, Jake Ulmer, Cam Brooks-Harris, and Jaquay Wales. Wales, number 3 in black, the only Tiger who was part of the program when they won that national championship in 2019. They were as well the number 1 team in 2020 in the final rankings, and the favorites to repeat as champions before the tournament was canceled due to COVID. Another chance for Georgetown after the Davidson miss. Brooks-Harris, too strong, rebounded by Malone. He turns and pushes. Look at Elijah Malone in the open floor. Finds Cade Gibbs, who scores. Elijah Malone running the break. Wales, floater, no. Malone, another rebound. Still nothing on the board for Georgetown. Davidson whips it underneath Gibbs. Swinging around, Malone. Got Brooks-Harris in the air. It's poked away from him by Ulmer. Jake Ulmer is on the run, and Stoltzfus won't get there. Leading scorer for Georgetown this year, Jake Ulmer, better than 16 a game, and he has the first deuce for the Tigers tonight. Cade Gibbs for 3. Rattles out, rebounded by Lamont. It's not the strong suit of either Gibbs brother. They're efficient scorers, but more so on the interior off the dribble than from the 3-point line. Ulmer off the heel, rebounded by Lamont. Turns around, nobody's in front of him, and Lamont splashes one from the mid-range. It's 4-all. Davidson, extra pass Gibbs, all the way around to Malone, bodied by Lamont. Elijah Malone goes underneath, spins in the restricted area and scores. First basket for Elijah Malone. Cam Brooks-Harris spins into the paint. His floater too strong. Malone ends up with it. 5 rebounds for Elijah Malone already. Rocket bounce pass, pulled in by Gibbs. He took a hit, didn't get a call. And Georgetown the other way, down by 2 after 4 minutes. Omer, quick trigger 3. And another rebound for Malone. He has 6 rebounds. Nobody else for Grace has a single one. Gibbs to Gibbs. Brooks-Harris denies it. But he fouled Cade Gibbs, who will shoot 2 free throws. Grace up by 2. Elijah Malone has been running the show. 6 rebounds, but he can do it in the open floor as well. Orchestrating, and the assist to Cade Gibbs. Malone has 2 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 assist in 4 minutes. And the first free throw goes down for the aforementioned Gibbs. 76% free throw shooter on the year. Grace shoots 54% from the field as a team, which is 3rd best in the NAIA. Not a great three-point shooting team. Not bad. Both of these teams in the mid-30s. Combined 0 for 5 from 3 between the 2 teams to start. Another cold shooting start in a tournament full of them. And Brooks-Harris misses. Rebounded by Malone. 7 rebounds for Grace, all of them to Elijah Malone. Davidson hangs, misses. Cade Gibbs powers up, blocked by Cam Brooks-Harris. Georgetown down 4, but Omer's on the run. Poked out of bounds. Last off Georgetown. Oh, wow. That looked like Jacob Gibbs and Elijah Malone had their hands up closest to it. But Grace gets the ball. Georgetown fell behind early. Trailed by as many as 8. I should say as 10 late in the first half. With 5 minutes to go in the first half, Georgetown was down 10 to the 2nd seed Langston. It was yesterday. Malone bodies into Lamont. Stoltzfus, Malone reposts, 7 to shoot, goes over Lamont. Malone is fouled. One of the issues in this tournament has been when it's an offensive foul and when it's not, when a post player is backing in, and for that matter, when it's a flop. Cam Brooks-Harris picked up his 2nd foul early. He fouled out yesterday. He'll have to be careful.
You know, it's easy to get caught up in emotions around, oh, I feel good, or I feel like I'm getting better, or I feel like I'm getting worse. But having data, big data, over a long stretch of time allows you to actually see your work come into fruition in the form of progress. It just allows you to create a better perspective over your progression. To ignore it entirely is doing yourself a disservice because it's a resource that's available to you.
Hometown Ticketing makes it fast and easy to buy tickets on your school's website or in the new Hometown Fan app. It's simple. Just search for your school, buy your tickets, and they'll be right there in your account, ready to be scanned when you get to your event. Download the Hometown Fan app today.
There are 2 key moments in any college journey: when an acceptance letter arrives and the day the college education is paid off. And College Ave Student Loans is with you to help cover costs all along the way. We offer stress-free private student loans for undergrads, grad students, for parents, even loans to refinance your existing loans. Whether you're starting college, already in the workplace, or just trying to figure things out, turn to College Ave and breathe easy.
Grace up 8-4 after 5 minutes in the opening half of our 3rd quarterfinal today. Nate Gatter back with you with our wonderful crew here in downtown KC. Elijah Malone to the free throw line. He has dominated the early stages of this game. 76% free throw shooter. He's a very capable shooter all the way around for a guy his size. We've seen a lot of players today. Cameron Copeland, Michael Ure, who were the stars of the round of 16 action, which for the earlier games meant Monday. And Malone with a block right on cue, getting to Omer. who have struggled a little bit now today in the quarterfinals, but Elijah Malone off to a great start. Jumper from Kyron Jones. He's been a slow starter, speaking of those stars from the round of 16. Malone has Jones on him now, wants it on the block. Fakes to the baseline, takes it middle, fall away Jay. Omer the other direction. Kyron Jones for three. Rebounded by Davidson. Davidson inside, under pressure from Rashad Bishop in off the bench for Georgetown. Wales drives. Corner three, Omer. That was a tough shot. He went right up with it, no hesitation, and banks it from the corner. 5 points for Jake Omer, who started 1 of 5 before that make. Malone on Lamont. No double. Well done by Drew Lamont. Malone had to terminate the dribble after just one bounce. Jacob Gibbs couldn't get the roll, and he will shoot 2 free throws. Two teams combined 1 of 7 from three-point range. This was the one. Jake Omer splashes one from the corner. Jacob Gibbs at the line now for Grace, a 79% shooter. It's his first point of the evening. Third leading scorer for Grace coming into KC, but just a half point off Frankie Davidson, who leads the way. The Lancers have 4 who average double figures, plus Ian Scott just in off the bench, who averages 9. Jake Wadding is also on. Malone sits down for the first time along with Davidson. Tommy Thomas is in there, 5 in black for Georgetown. This is Kyron Jones in on Wadding. He's bumped. Couldn't get the hook shot to fall. Jake Wadding picks up the foul. And Kyron Jones will shoot 2. Bryson Graber checks in. Stoltzfus goes out. Got to look at those numbers for Jones. In the round of 16 against Langston. And Kyron Jones goes 0 for 2. Not a good offensive start for him. Scott, what a feed! Ian Scott was falling out of bounds. He fouled Cade Gibbs. And it's a 6-point Grace lead. Second half of Grace's win over Freed Hardman. Wales with his foot on the line. It's a 2. Tipped out of bounds, last off Kyron Jones, and the Lancers get it. But Cade Gibbs in the second half of that blowout win for Grace over Freed Hardman lived on the baseline cuts. Mostly backdoor. This isn't really backdoor because there were a couple of Georgetown defenders between him and the baseline by that point. But he finished in style, and he does so again. It's a turnover for Grace, the second so far, and Georgetown gives it right back. Wadding attacks, follows his own miss and scores. 8-point lead for Grace. Kyron Jones got a step, surrounded, counted, plus the foul. Kyron Jones, after a frustrating start, 0 for 2 from the field and the line, gets his first bucket. Graber, Scott, Wadding all around him. Muscled it up and in. He's back at the free throw line. 62% shooter this year, junior from Bowling Green. Jacob Gibbs fouled. Was it during the shot? Looks like he will shoot 2. That is indeed the verdict. 79% foul shooter back at the stripe, where he went 1 for 2 earlier. You know, another theme that we've talked about in Kansas City is how young a lot of these teams are. That's not so much the case for Georgetown. Omer and Lamont are both seniors, and a few other juniors who are key rotation players. All 5 starters are upperclassmen. But for Grace, it's a pretty young group. 3 sophomores who start, just 1 senior in the rotation. That's Frankie Davidson. A lot of these teams that it seems are in a position to potentially be back here in Kansas City once or twice more in the couple of years to come. Of course, Georgetown, regardless of the experience on the roster this particular year, will always fancy its chances. Jones' 3 is off. Weak side rebound pulled in by Brett Sikafus, another sophomore just into the game. Graber finds a back-cutting Sikafus for 2. 9-point lead for Grace. Just past 9 minutes played. Tate Dozier getting his first minutes for Georgetown tonight. Rashad Bishop couldn't get it off the spin. Rebound corralled by Wadding. Here come the Lancers. Wadding, Euro step, finger roll goes. Timeout, Chris Briggs. Grace has made it an 11-point lead. This was a typical Lancers bucket with a back cut, the nice find. How about Wadding calling his own number in transition, got the rebound coast to coast for the pretty finger roll. The 11-point lead for the Lancers, who are 7 of 15 for the field. They built this lead without making a single three-pointer. They're +3 on the boards. +7 in bench points. Georgetown hasn't had a bench point yet. And Grace is up 12-4 points in the paint. That is the difference at the moment. Elijah Malone, 4 points, 6 boards. I think he's undercredited a point in the official stats right now. They say he has 3, but he should have 4. And I think they might have shorted him a rebound as well. By my count, he had 7. In any event, it's an 11-point Grace lead. That's what really matters. The Lancers looking for a date in Friday's Fab Four. The winner of this game will play at 7 Central Time in our second Fab Four game on Friday. 2 teams through to the Fab Four already. College of Idaho, the #1 seed from the Naismith Quadrant. OUAZ, the 7 seed from the Kramer, will play at 5 Central Friday in our first Fab Four game. Hope you can join us. Tommy Thomas, shot clock running down, pulled up on the baseline, he got it. Nicely done by Thomas. Midway point of the first half. Georgetown has it back to single digits. Graber, pass knocked out of bounds by Cam Brooks. Harris, keep an eye there on 0 and Black because he's back on the floor with 2 fouls here. Jaquay Wales has 2 fouls as well, and he is sitting. So a couple of starters with some imminent foul trouble for Georgetown. Jake Wadding has picked up the only 2 for Grace. We'll step aside, return in a moment. Lancers up by 9.
First time I picked up a Spartan TF ball, I knew it was built different. You know that feeling from that first moment on, it never leaves your hand. It raises you, lifts you to new heights, got you doing things like that. And once you're hooked, ain't nothing gonna stop that. It teaches you to be a student first, to lay it all out, just to do it again.
And again.
From the moment you pick up a TF ball, it's always there for you. Now do something with it.
The landscape of sports is changing. AI is the next evolution. We're bringing it to fields and gyms everywhere with Huddle Focus. Just mount it, set it, and forget it. Multiple lenses, AI player tracking, automatic recording, or record on the fly with the Focus app. Instant uploads and flexible live streaming options. AI is changing sports. Use it to your advantage. Visit huddle.com/focus today.
College of Idaho and OUAZ, as mentioned, through to the Fab Four Friday at 5 Central. Still 2 more spots up for grabs. Grace leads this one by 9. Arizona Christian and Indiana Tech to follow. Hope you'll stick with us. Inside, Ian Scott for 2. Tommy Thomas wants a triple. Frankie Davidson has the rebound. He's the only starter on the floor at the moment. Bryson Graber pulls up and hits. Graber, Wadding, Scott, and Sikafus. 4 bench players around the Lancers' leading scorer this year, Frankie Davidson. Tay Dozier pulls it, and he's fouled by Graber. That was sloppy. These are probably the easiest ones for officials, even as compared to like a hit on the elbow or something like that. Just a little bump in the landing zone. Dozier misses the first. 68% free throw shooter this year. Freshman from Louisville who had started every game for Georgetown coming into Kansas City. He's been coming off the bench here. Averages 10 a game. Thomas checks out, as does Kyron Jones. Omer and Lamont back on. Tigers already in some trouble. Dozier gets to a 3. It's an 11-point Grace lead. Tipped out of bounds. Lancers keep it. Malone back on for Grace, along with Stoltzfus. Gabrion Spikes is in for Georgetown. We didn't see him at all in their game yesterday. Scott works past Cam Brooks. Harrison scores. Brooks Harris really likes to go for the block shots, and he has that ability. But especially with 2 fouls already on him, when he leaves his feet and allows Scott to get a step, there's not a lot he can do to recover because he can't take the risk of trying to block that shot from behind. Dozier pulls up over Malone. Scott has the rebound. Grace pushes. Malone went behind his legs, poked away by Spikes. But Elijah Malone has pretty remarkable ball handling, passing, shooting skills for a man of his size. He might not be the tallest guy here in Kansas City, but he is the biggest. Malone goes to work on Lamont. It's a nice spin move. Gets his own miss over top of Lamont. Trying to create a little space, and he walked with the basketball. He's saying he was fouled, maybe took a hit around the eye. A lot of physicality has been allowed in the paint in Kansas City this year. Spikes out for Kyron Jones. Attacks all the way, couldn't get it. Dozier the foul though, just to beat the timer. Jeffrey on Spikes, when Kyron Jones didn't take that three, Spikes took both of his hands and put them on his head. He was shocked and appalled that Jones didn't shoot the three with the shot clock where it was. Maybe it was ill-advised, but in the end, Dozier able to put it in. Spikes on the run. Waited a long time and then threw a bad pass for Dozier. But Spikes is giving some energy here. Nobody's really gotten hot yet for Georgetown. .11-point lead for Grace. Graber, backdoor feed. Davidson yanked out of his hands on the catch. Malone tied up by Dozier, and a held ball sends possession back to Georgetown. Malone's getting a little bit frustrated, I think, at the amount of contacts being allowed down there. And the Tigers probably feeling like they don't have a lot of other options to corral him. Jones bumped on the baseline, muscles Malone underneath. Rebounded by Spikes, swatted by Davidson, but a foul. If that's on Frankie Davidson, it must have been with the body or something. It is on Davidson. At least at the top, that seemed like all ball. Jones went inside. Let's see here. Maybe you can't really see what the left hand is doing there. So maybe there was a left hand into the midsection, a little bump with the body. But at the top, that was awfully clean from that angle. So Spikes, the freshman at the line, where he has shot 74% this year. Graber checks out for Grace, replaced by Jacob Gibbs. Second one rims out. Cade Gibbs has the rebound. It's the starting five on the floor now for the Lancers. Three starters out there for Georgetown: Jones, Lamont, and Ulmer, along with Spikes and Dozier off the bench. Gibbs kicks to Frankie Davidson for three. The best three-pointer there is. Catch and shoot on a pass that comes from under the rim. The shoulders are already square, the feet are already square. Davidson, a 45% three-point shooter, not going to miss many like that. Jones couldn't get it, but Tay Dozier on the offensive glass again. He has been a revelation on the interior for Georgetown. He has a game-high 6 points off the bench for the Tigers. Malone working inside against Lamont. He turns, fires a pass underneath for Cade Gibbs. Jacob was after the rebound. Cade ends up with it, muscles through traffic. Georgetown has the rebound. Officials are going to have to blow a whistle or two here in the next couple of minutes because it is getting crazy in the paint. Spikes. Jones. Backs in on Malone. All the way down low for the hook, and it goes. whistle on Lamont. First foul on Drew Lamont. It's the 5th against Georgetown in the half, so no free throws yet. Here's the Davidson triple. Made the Grace lead double digits. It's back down to 9, but the Lancers in control in the first half.
There's a beat in all of us. It drives us, it inspires us, and it pushes us through. It is there in preparation, it is there in battle, it is there in defeat and success. It's the engine, it's our guide. And this beat is my own. This beat is how I live. And this is how I hydrate. Body Armor Sport Water, hydration for athletes.
I'm attorney Mike DePasquale. People call me all the time and they say, hey Mike, we take my small case. Well listen, no case is small at my law firm. Every case is big. Whether you have a case worth $20,000 or a case worth millions of dollars, you'll have the full power and attention of my law firm. When you hire my law firm, you get a team of people working on your case, no matter how big or how small it is. Big cases or small, call me. I've got this.
Call 816-888-7500. That's 816-888-7500.
5 minutes to go in the first half. Grace leads by 9. Elijah Malone dominated the early minutes. Since then, it's been just an all-around effort for the Lancers, who have had 9 players appear. All of them have scored in the first half. Kay Dozier off the bench has 6 for Georgetown, 3 rebounds. He's been providing a big boost on the offensive glass. But a relatively cleanly played first half. Grace has been the better team on the backboard. Davidson miss, rebounded by Cade Gibbs. That could have been a travel. Malone working in on Lamont, double team. Jones is there, a whole crowd around him, and it's blocked out of bounds with 2 to shoot. See what Grace has here for a late clock baseline trigger. Oh, and that's a bailout for the Lancers. Davidson was held by Dozier trying to get free. It was a clear foul. And that's going to reset the shot clock from 2 to 20. Big break. Also the 6th team foul against Georgetown, so 4.5 minutes of time in the bonus for Grace. Malone skip past Davidson. Jacob Gibbs tried to go underneath to Cade. Out of bounds with 12 on the timer. A lengthy possession for Grace. Stoltzfus with 6 to shoot. Good look for Cade Gibbs, and he buries it. Just the second three-pointer Grace has made in this first half. Georgetown has only 1. 12-point lead for the Lancers. Omer held all the way around by Jacob Gibbs and finally gets the whistle. First foul on Gibbs, 5th against Grace in the half. Lamont has a pretty big size advantage on Cade Gibbs, but not when he's 25 feet from the rim. Omer didn't seem confident in that 3. His celebration of walking back and holding up the 3 fingers doesn't work as well when he was sprinting in, chasing his own miss. only to see it swish through. Malone for three. Rattles out, and that was last off Jacob Gibbs. Georgetown gets it back. That Omer three cracks me up with him still doing his celebration even after a shot that his body language suggests he did not think was going in. Look at this. Watch him chase after this. You're not going to really see. He's at the bottom. He's running in there. He's at the free throw line. Then he turns around, puts up the three fingers anyway. Hey, he still made it. Grace leads by 9 with 3.5 to go. Spikes on Davidson. Some contact and a foul. Again, it was clean on the top. That time, Davidson did get him with the body. It's a second on Davidson. And the 6th against Grace. So both teams will be in the bonus the rest of the way. This is going to be 2 for Spikes, who was in the act of shooting. He's at the line for the 2nd time in the half. Went 1 of 2 earlier. Grace substitution. Wadding is back on for Davidson. Both of them have 2 fouls. Cade Gibbs, by the way, after that 3, up to a game-high 9 points. Close in on 17 minutes played. Spikes gets both. Grace's lead is down to 7. Georgetown's hanging around. It feels like the Lancers have pretty much dominated this first half, and they have been in clear command. But this is very much within striking distance for the Tigers. Spikes is on the ground. Jacob Gibbs comes free and gets a 3 to go. Omer, step back, and it drops. They're going to call it a 2. He didn't quite get far enough back behind the line. 10 for Jake Omer. Cade Gibbs underneath, doubled and fouled. He's going to go to the free throw line. The foul is on Jake Omer, his first. And 1-and-1 coming for Cade Gibbs, who shoots at 76% at the stripe and has made both of his attempts in this half. Bryson Graber returns for Grace. Carter Stoltzfus sits down. Gibbs very coolly knocks down both. 10-point lead for Grace. The Lancers have hit 8 of their 9 free throws in this half. Omer wants another one. Rattles it in. Jake Omer. 13 points in the first half, and he's pulled Georgetown back within 7. He's just having a tough time stopping Gibbs, but Dozier comes over with a help side. Big possession here for the Tigers. Omer way downtown again! 16 first half points for Jake Omer. He scored 11 straight for the Tigers, and they trail by just 4. It's electric. The threes have not been falling for either team, for any team in Kansas City this week. But Jake Omer has hit 4 of 5 triples in the first half, and that one was NBA range plus. Wow. It would have been easy at times in this first half for Georgetown to roll over and die. But the Tigers have fought back to within 4 with 2 minutes to go. Jake Omer has 16 points in the first half. We haven't seen anybody put up a 30-piece yet in Kansas City. If my recollection is correct, and they might correct me from the truck, but if my recollection is correct, I think Charles Elsie's 25 points in College of Idaho's first game is the highest scoring individual effort we've had so far. Gibbs through a lot of contact. His brother Cade grabs the rebound and is fouled. Jake Omer has a good chance to eclipse 25. And when a guy's getting that hot, especially when it's not just somebody doing it one time, you know that Omer is a great shooter and the leading scorer for Georgetown this year. It's got to start to make an impact on what Grace can do strategically on defense. If he's going to force the Lancers to start to guard 25, 26, 27 feet from the basket, that could be problematic. Grace has been money at the free throw line, 10 of 11 and a half. Cade Gibbs 6 for 6. He has a team high 13 points. Maybe not as loud as Jake Omer's 16. Grace covered that one well. Tay Dozier open. His three is good. Georgetown has hit 5 threes in the first half, and a technical foul was just called against the Tigers. That is a killer. If this is Jake Omer, it's the second game in a row he's picked up a technical foul. It is on Omer, so that's Omer's second personal foul in the first half, which is costly. The second technical he's been called for in as many games here in KC, and instead of a 3-point game on defense, by the time Georgetown drops back to defend here, it might be a 5-point game. But the first one misses. Cade Gibbs had been 6 of 6 at the line. That one's off the mark. And he misses both. So Grace as a team had only missed 1 free throw the entire half. Gibbs was 6 for 6. But in the end, the technical doesn't work against him. Funny game. This has been a great half. Maybe the best one we've seen so far in KC. Certainly the best first half. Graber in a crowd. Wadding knocked away by Omer. He's on the run. Foot race with Graber. Omer has 18 and a half, and it's a 1-point game. Maybe a dangerous reach by Omer because he's on 2 personal fouls, and a third one in his final minute and a half would be a killer. Scott thought about it. Graber has to initiate again. Jacob Gibbs working on spikes, knocks him back. And the foul goes on Spikes. Wow. Jacob Gibbs will shoot 2. Oof. It's tough to see what Jeffrey on Spikes is supposed to do there. Maybe he's got a little bit of his left hand bumping Gibbs, but the contact that drew the whistle was all initiated by Jacob Gibbs lowering his shoulder and driving into Spikes. All of a sudden, Grace missing at the free throw line. The Gibbs brothers made 10 of 11 to start the half. They made just 1 of their last 4. Omer again! 5 first half threes for Jake Omer. He has 21 points, and Georgetown has an incredible lead. Stolen by Tay Dozier. On the run against Stoltzfus. He's fouled. Will they count it? Yes! Count the basket for Tay Dozier. Grace can't believe it. It's a 3-point Georgetown lead with a free throw to come. What a turnaround. Bit of a continuation there, but they count the basket. Georgetown trailed by 10 with 2:38 to go in this half. 2.5 minutes ago, Georgetown was down 10. A 14-point turnaround. Gibbs races ahead. Jacob Gibbs on the pull-up. Good look, and he got it. Grace pulls within 2 at the half. A rip-roaring finish. It was 38-28 with 2:38 to go. Georgetown on a 17-5 run over 2.5 minutes. Jake Omer, 21 first-half points, 5 3-pointers. The Tigers 6 of 11 as a team from 3. And boy, has the temperature been turned up in this building for a scintillating second half. 20 minutes in, the books were open for 20 more just like that. Georgetown by 2 at the break.
The landscape of sports is changing. AI is the next evolution. We're bringing it to fields and gyms everywhere with Huddle Focus. Just mount it, set it, and forget it. Multiple lenses, AI player tracking, automatic recording, or record on the fly with the Focus app. Instant uploads and flexible live streaming options. AI is changing sports. Use it to your advantage. Visit huddle.com/focus today.
You know, it's easy to get caught up in emotions around, oh, I feel good, or I feel like I'm getting better, or I feel like I'm getting worse. But having data, big data over a long stretch of time allows you to actually see your work come into fruition in the form of progress. It just allows you to create a better perspective over your progression. To ignore it entirely is doing yourself a disservice because it's a resource that's available to you.
There are 2 key moments in any college journey: when an acceptance letter arrives and the day the college education is paid off. And College Ave Student Loans is with you to help cover costs all along the way. We offer stress-free private student loans for undergrads, grad students, for parents, even loans to refinance existing loans. Whether you're starting college, already in the workplace, or just trying to figure things out, turn to College Ave and breathe easy.
Did you know only 2% of college graduates feel that they've had a magical college experience? At St. Thomas University, we see the magic happening every day. When your professor becomes your mentor and learning becomes your passion. When you join a student organization and meet your friends for life. When your classes and activities prepare you for the real world and a successful career. At STU, our students live the magic, and their college experience leads to limitless possibilities. Visit stu.edu today.
After 100 years, why are we still pushing for more? Because at Thomas More, we're inspired to help you create and live a fuller life. That means creating more opportunities for you inside the classroom and out. Programs that lead to something more than a job, a fulfilling career, and expecting more from our faculty and staff to help give you the opportunity to become the remarkable person you were created to be. Thomas More University. Make it more.
The landscape of sports is changing. AI is the next evolution. We're bringing it to fields and gyms everywhere with Huddle Focus. Just mount it, set it, and forget it. Multiple lenses, AI player tracking, automatic recording, or record on the fly with the Focus app. Instant uploads and flexible live streaming options. AI is changing sports. Use it to your advantage. Visit huddle.com/focus today.
The thing I love about Clark is that you're never just one thing. I'm not just a student, I'm a future doctor. I'm an athlete on a history-making team. I'm a community member supporting the causes I care about. I'm a friend, a neighbor, a leader. At Clark, you can become anything. What will you be? Be you at CU.
Hometown ticketing makes it fast and easy to buy tickets on your school's website or in the new Hometown Fan app. It's simple. Just search for your buy your tickets, and they'll be right there in your account, ready to be scanned when you get to your event. Download the Hometown Fan app today.
It's more than an education. It's more than a degree. William Penn University is alive with opportunity. Opportunity in a diverse student body. Opportunity in a staff that works with your budget. Opportunity in over 30 programs of study. Opportunity in a classroom where your voice is heard. Find your future and the opportunities waiting for you. Start your planning today at wmpenn.edu and see why William Penn University is alive with opportunity.
First time I picked up a Spartan TF ball, I knew it was built different. You know that feeling from that first moment on, it never leaves your hand. It raises you, lifts you to new heights, got you doing things like that. And once you're hooked, ain't nothing gonna stop that. It teaches you to be a student first, to lay it all out, just to do it again.
And again.
From the moment you pick up a TF ball, it's always there for you. Now do something with it.
You know, it's easy to get caught up in emotions around, oh, I feel good, or I feel like I'm getting better, or I feel like I'm getting worse. But having data, big data, over a long stretch of time allows you to actually see your work come into fruition in the form of progress. It just allows you to create a better perspective over your progression. To ignore it entirely is doing yourself a disservice because it's a resource that's available to you.
There's a beat in all of us. It drives us, it inspires us, and it pushes us through. It is there in preparation, it is there in battle, it is there in defeat, and success. It's the engine, it's our guide. And this beat is my own. This beat is how I live. And this is how I hydrate. Body Armor Sport Water, hydration for athletes.
I'm attorney Mike DePasquale. People call me all the time and they say, hey Mike, we take my small case. Well listen, no case is small at law firm. Every case is big. Whether you have a case worth $20,000 or a case worth millions of dollars, you'll have the full power and attention of my law firm. When you hire my law firm, you get a team of people working on your case, no matter how big or how small it is. Big cases or small, call me. I've got this.
Call 816-888-7500. That's 816-888-7500.
Georgetown up by 2 at the half in a game that the Tigers trailed by double digits with just 2.5 minutes to play in the half and trailed by as many as 13. It was Jake Omer, and then, Jake Omer in the first half. 21 points for Omer. To be fair, Tay Dozier did add 12 points off the bench. Those two combined for 33 of Georgetown's 45. But Omer hit 8 of 12 from the field, 5 of 6 from three-point range. He had 21 first-half points and is well on his way to the highest-scoring individual effort we've seen in KC this year. Grayson was a more balanced attack. Cade Gibbs led the way with 13. His brother Jacob added 9. They did miss a few free throws down the stretch, which had been a real standout part of the game for the Lancers. But got a bucket right at the end from Jacob that closed the gap. Jake Omer, 21 points. How about that? Just an incredible half. I don't think we've seen anything yet in KC that comes all that close to the first half Jake Omer put together. Maybe Michael Ure in the second half for Montana Tech against William Penn. But even that was more like 12, 15 points. Stoltzfus, Davidson, Elijah Malone, quiet since the early minutes. Backs in on Lamont, spins to the restricted area, goes up and he's fouled. Let's see who they get on this. It could be Lamont, could be Brooks Harris, could be Jones. I think it's Kyron Jones. It is Kyron Jones. It's his second. Make it his first, I should say. And Elijah Malone back at the free throw line. He's 3 for 3 there now. Well, the Lancers tie things up just 14 seconds into the second half. This should be a fun stretch run. Lamont, he was quiet in the first half. So was everybody, though, who wasn't named Omer or Dozier. We'll see how long Tay Dozier's on the bench to start this half. Cam Brooks Harris off the heel, kicks to the corner, tracked down by Jones. Brooks Harris cuts, bodies into Cade Gibbs, turns and scores. Cam Brooks Harris did not score in the first half, but he has the first bucket for Georgetown in the second. He and Jaquay Wales both limited in their minutes because of foul trouble. They have 2 apiece. Omer and Dozier also have 2 each, so that's something to remember. Malone triple team. Cade Gibbs, a little clear out on Cam Brooks Harris, who's going to be called for the foul. That's his 3rd personal foul. And a bit unlucky for him. Looks like Chris Briggs is going to allow him to stay on the floor for the moment. Grace has a couple of guys with 2 fouls, Frankie Davidson and Jake Wadden. Malone against Lamont. To the block, he's fouled by Lamont. It's a good call. Lamont's frustrated. He's reaching for the ball, though, and he just doesn't get enough of it. And his arm's right on his arm. That's the second foul on Lamont. So 5 different players for Georgetown have at least 2 fouls. 4 of them are starters. Kyron Jones is the only starter without 2 fouls, and he just picked up his first one in the opening 14 seconds of this half. Stoltzfus has it deflected. Omer got a piece of that. Shows you how positionless some of these teams are here in KC. Omer, the shortest man, or second shortest on the floor for the Tigers, blocked the shot, and then Lamont, the tallest, brought it up the floor. Jones gets his own miss, finds a cutting Cam Brooks Harris. Brooks Harris did not score in the first half. He has all 4 Georgetown points in the second. Malone from the foul line, answers. 8.7 boards for Elijah Malone. Omer curls around the screen, an impossible floater, but he's fouled. And Jake Omer will go to the free throw line for the first time today. But how about Cam Brooks Harris off the feed from Kyron Jones? Brooks Harris can get up. It's one of the things we noticed during Grace's win over Freed Hartman, though. Sometimes guys get afraid to go all the way to the rim on Malone. It's not the worst idea just to go ahead and take him in there. Brandon Thomas for Freed-Hardeman in the first half was trying to just beat him in the mid-range, thinking he couldn't beat him at the rim. But he was able to move Malone a couple of times and get him so far under the basket that he was just turning and going straight up with the hook shot. And that puts his entire body in between Malone and the basketball. And so you wonder if Kyron Jones, who's sort of a similar build to Thomas, a little bit bigger, might consider something similar, because he has been able to get Malone pinned under the bucket a couple of times. Stoltzfus pass tipped in the air. It still comes down to Davidson. Kicks it to Malone. Steps into a 2 and scores. How did that ball that popped 15, 20 feet in the air not only end up with Davidson, but bounce before he grabbed it? That ball came all the way down to the floor. Either way, Malone into double figures now. 10 points to go. There's 7 rebounds. 4 players in double figures, 2 for each team. Jones is not one of them. He's been quiet compared to the standard that he set on Tuesday. There's the hook. Jones just 3 for 10, but that gives him 7 points and 6 rebounds, and I think we're going to see a lot more of that. Him just backing Malone down. Lamont with a hand in Malone's face. Bank shot won't go. Rebounded by Brooks Harris. Cam Brooks Harris has a little bounce back in his step. Stoltzfus trying to stay with Omer. Georgetown happy to isolate Jones against Malone on the block. There is no help for Elijah Malone. Jones is trying to go to work. See if he reposts. Step back mid-range. Too strong, rebounded by Davidson. But because mainly of Omer's onslaught from the outside, Grace is just not helping at all on the interior. And it looks like Georgetown is happy to try to go to that matchup one-on-one, Jones against Malone. It's Malone on Lamont at this end. Omer knocks it free, the steal. Omer pushes the pace. Wales on the drive. Into Jacob Gibbs. It's blocked. Cam Brooks Harris, that was dangerous. He has 3 fouls. There was no reason for him to be physically cutting off Stoltzfus like that. And he would have regretted it had the whistle come in, which it easily could have. Grace down by 4 with the ball. The Lancers have led by as many as 13. Jacob Gibbs bodies into Wales to create space, and he scores. He gave Wales as much as he could in his chest without picking up an offensive foul, and that created the space for him to elevate. Jones trying to break down Malone off the dribble. Got him in the restricted area again. Backs him down and scores off glass. Like backyard big guy one-on-one. Just muscling him down to the block. Foul called on Wales trying to front Jacob Gibbs. Kyron Jones has come alive in the second half. And if he can create that kind of space, watch him here, how deep he gets. And he's just going up with the hook. Malone really is fortunate with that arm coming down. He didn't pick up a foul there. 9.6 rebounds for Kyron Jones. Jacob Gibbs tied up by Drew Lamont. And a held ball with a possession arrow going to Georgetown. Trebrion Spikes is back on for the Tigers, by the way, in for Jaquay Wales, who picked up his 3rd foul. Jones in on Ian Scott. Gets his own miss. Works underneath, and a blocking foul called against Grace. Kyron Jones asserting himself in this second half. 9.7 rebounds for Jones. His Tigers on top by 4.
Inspiration. The divine influence of something. How do we inspire? We build ourselves up. We help each other out. We work hard so that we can achieve big things. We are Avalon. Be inspired.
College of Idaho and OUAZ will kick off the Fab Four Friday night at 5 o'clock Central. Grace and Georgetown will send the next team on to face Arizona Christian Indiana Tech. That score 21-12 was from the first half when Grace had this thing in hand. The Lancers were up by as many as 13 late on in the opening half. Georgetown now leads it by 4 after completely flipping the script in the final 2.5 minutes before halftime, thanks in large part to Jake Omer's barrage of three-pointers. Tay Dozier is on for the first time for the Tigers. He had 12 first-half points off the bench. Kyron Jones has been the focal point in the second half. Omer has not officially attempted a shot from the field. He was fouled on his only shot and sunk 2 free throws. Jones, step back, good. Six-point lead for Georgetown, largest of the night. Scott walked. What adjustment is Grace going to make to try to stop Kyron Jones? He drives on Scott, goes up, count it, plus the foul. Kyron Jones take it over. Pure Kyron Jones in the second half. He's off on the free throw, rebounded by Wadding. But Grace feeling the heat a little bit now, down by 8. Still a long way to go, but the Lancers need a response. Wadding faked one way, the other, back the third way. Couldn't get it off the glass. And as soon as Grace adjusts to Jones, you have to think that Jake Omer's still going to be lying in wait, probably itching to take another shot. Here he goes. That one's off. Rebounded by Wadding. He fires one ahead. What a pass. Gibbs to Gibbs. And Lamont just grabbed him. I think he got just high enough and got it just enough on the forearm. That's not going to be an intentional foul, but they are very protective of players in these circumstances. Jacob Gibbs should have just laid that up. Maybe he felt he had too much momentum. Ooh. You got to be careful on that. Gotta be careful. I'm surprised they're not looking at it, to be honest. Because Lamont really doesn't get anywhere close to the ball. I don't think there's any malice in it, but he flails a little bit. And that can create a danger. Grace gets 2 at the line from Cade Gibbs. He has a team-high 15. Lamont takes a seat, and he's replaced by Rashad Bishop. Davidson back on for Gibbs. Dozier down to Bishop, spins on Scott, hangs, can't hit. Wadding the rebound. Grace on the run, 2-on-1. Davidson, a blocking foul. Spikes had position, but he was in the restricted area. So Davidson will shoot 2 free throws. Grace 16 of 20 as a team at the line. Ooh. Rare miss for Davidson at the stripe where he shoots 79%. 0 for 1 now tonight. Scott Moore and his staff had to have been feeling really good. Leading by 14, or by 13, I should say, at one point in the first half. It's become a dogfight. If anything, the Lancers are just trying to hang around right now. Jake Omer brought Georgetown back. Kyron Jones is trying to pull the Tigers away. Dozier, Jones. He's like this mid-range the last few possessions. He wants it again. There it is. How can you stop him right now? How can you stop him? You can't double him. Davidson for 3. Bucket. But Graystein stops. Dozier thought about it. Pulls up. Too strong. Rebounded by Wadding. Big chance now for Grace in a 4-point game. Jacob Gibbs has it poked away. Omer another steal. Stretches it for Dozier. Back to Bishop. He got it. A lot of contact from Scott. No whistle. 6-point lead again for Georgetown. Scott is bumped. He might have been a charge coming on Jones, but Bishop fouled him first. How about this sequence when the Lancers thought they had their chance? Jake Omer, another steal. He pushes the pace dangerously. Dozier did well to keep it in play. And Rashad Bishop creatively finished around Scott, who's now at the free throw line. That foul was on the floor, so this is 1-1 for Ian Scott, who shoots at 73% on the season. It's his first trip to the line tonight. This is the kind of game you come to the NAIA tournament to see. A foul away from the ball on Jacob Gibbs. Trying to keep hold, in this case literally, of Jake Omer, who was coming on another one of those curls around a double screen, maybe even a triple screen. Four-point lead for the Tigers with the ball. Omer has just 2 points in the second half after 21 in the first. Rebounded by Davidson. It's poked loose and chased down by Bishop. They said no possession for Grace, so the shot clock only reset to 20. Jones hunting that mid-range again, and he got it again. Kyron Jones has 17. Omer in the first half, Jones in the second. Davidson step back, he got it. Grace just can't get enough stops. That lost rebound was a big, big deal for the Lancers, who have been the better rebounding team for the most part. They're down by 4 with 11 minutes to go. Georgetown leads by 4. That lead, I suppose you could say, is thanks to Jake Omer and his outburst late in the first. But Georgetown has kept it because of Kyron Jones, who has scored 12 of his 17 points on 6 of 9 shooting in the second half. And he's added 4 rebounds since the break, 17 and 8 for him tonight. And his Tigers are up by 4 points with the basketball. Nate Gatter back with you in Kansas City, along with our fantastic crew. Game 11 of 12 the last 3 days. College of Idaho and OUAZ are through to the Fab Four Friday night. The winner of this game will have the 3rd spot and play the winner of our finale this evening between Arizona Christian and Indiana Tech in the second game Friday. Jones is fouled and gets the roll. 14 second half points for Kyron Jones in 9 minutes. He's hit a few from the mid-range. Now he gets to the rim, plus the foul on Wadding. Jones' free throw is good. 20 points for Kyron Jones, 15 of them, and we're not even at the midway point of the second half. Scott Davidson, 3-ball. Long rebound tracked down by Jacob Gibbs, who thought he was fouled but didn't get the call, and threw it away for an over and back that became just a pass out of bounds. Georgetown by 7. Elijah Malone getting ready to come back on, and he's going to be allowed to come in now to replace Ian Scott. Cade Gibbs returns as well for Frankie Davison. Drew Lamont will also come back on, presumably countering the Elijah Malone move. Rashad Bishop makes way for him. Omer off the dribble, 3-ball, good! 26 points for Jake Omer. He's hit 6 threes, and for the first time, Georgetown leads by double digits. The answer from Graber rattles home. Second field goal for Bryson Graber, his first 3-pointer. Dozier drives, his first bucket of the second half. After a dozen in the first, he's on the board in the second. 26 for Omer, 14 for Dozier, and 20 for Jones. They've combined for 60 of Georgetown's 73. Malone on Lamont. Malone in a crowd. Malone got it, plus the foul. A dozen for Elijah Malone, and he goes back to the free throw line. Foul on Drew Lamont. That's his 4th personal foul. Elijah Malone trying to get back into the rhythm, working on Lamont, who just picked up number 4 with 9.5 to go in the game. Malone will have a free throw when we get back in a 7-point game.
Campbellsville helped me to get a job, get my master's, to prepare myself for the world.
It offers students a tremendous amount of opportunity to get real-world experience.
We see
students, non-Christian students. We see people from every walk of life.
It's such a good place to be.
It kind of reminds me of home. Your teachers actually look out for you here. You feel invited as soon as you walk in. You're not going to find any better place to help students achieve what they want.
Jake Omer and Kyron Jones. Omer's 26 points, the highest scoring individual effort we've seen in Kansas City so far this year, and he still has 9.5 minutes left to add to that total. Kyron Jones has scored 15 of his 20 in the second half. He's headed toward a double-double, building off of his massive game yesterday when he went for 21 and 15. He has 41 points and 23 rebounds in a game and 3 quarters in KC so far. Not bad. Malone can't finish the three-point play. So the Georgetown lead is intact at 7, inside 9.5 to go. Jones and Omer out there with Dozier, Thomas, and Spikes off the bench. Cade Gibbs now is trying to stop Kyron Jones. Tommy Thomas pulls up, got glass first, and Malone way up for a powerful rebound, his 8th. Graber races up the floor against Spikes. He wanted to go to Malone. Gibbs gets it to him. Malone backs in on Jones, all the way to the middle, off the heel. Wadding up for the rebound, runs it down, but he stepped to the baseline. Might have a good look at that. Let's see if indeed. Ooh, that's close. Wow, that's really close. The official had a slightly better view than we did. Omer off the mark, rebounded by Kyron Jones. Even though Omer misses, Jones is there. No good from Spikes. 2 misses for Georgetown. This feels like a big possession where Grace needs something. Wadding, slashing to the rim, wouldn't go, but he's fouled. So Wadding will go to the free throw line. That is 9 fouls on Georgetown now. Grace has only been called for 5. So the Lancers will be in the double bonus for more than 8 minutes to finish this game. Wadding at the foul line for the first time. 61% free throw shooter this year. Grace has been good at the line today. But then they're off 20 of 26 as a team, 77%. They shoot 74% for the season. So Wadding gets both. It's a 5-point game. This is about as close as Grace has been able to get. The Lancers haven't had it within 1 possession for a while, but they've kept it from getting away from them. Georgetown has led by as many as 10. Cam Brooks-Harris back on the floor with his 3 fouls. Drew Lamont sitting on the Georgetown bench with 4. Dozier, that's a 2 when he rattles it in. His foot was on the line. That is only 2. Hey, Dozier has 16. Graber gets a good screen from Malone. Wadding wants to go to him, but Brooks-Harris sagging off to disrupt the passing lane, and that's an offensive foul on Wadding, who put his shoulder down. Jones hit the deck. Looked like a good call from our vantage point. Let's see. Left shoulder dips. Yeah, I mean, come on. I get why it's frustrating, because Jones is resisting on the first two. It's kind of like getting the chair pulled out from under you, but can't lower the shoulder and drive to that effect. That's 4 fouls on Jake Wadding, who sits down. Stoltzfus back on, Ian Scott as well, along with the Gibbs brothers and Elijah Malone. Omer curls around the screen, goes up on Cade Gibbs, and he's fouled. So Jake Omer back to the foul line, where he's made his only 2 attempts in this game. Georgetown as a team, 10 of 15. Omer shot 77% of the free throw line this season. Made his living from the 3-point line tonight. Rashad Bishop comes in for Georgetown. Somebody else had to go out. Tommy Thomas and Kyron Jones. So Jones finally sits down. As hot as he's been in the second half, it's probably going to be a short break, especially if Grace cuts into this Georgetown lead with any significance. Homer gets both. He has 28 points now, 7 of them since halftime. Hard to believe this was a 13-point lead for Grace. Cade Gibbs, pass turned back by Omer. Was it off Gibbs? No. Omer thought so. Jacob Gibbs, bounce pass Malone. Surrounded. He wants it back. He gets it back. Rashad Bishop is leaning on. Malone over top. Scott the follow-up. 7 minutes to go, and it's a 7-point game. Wales, kick out. Brooks Harris, corner triple, too strong. Rebound to Cam Brooks Harris. Rashad Bishop. Scott, deep position. Cade Gibbs, way short. College of Idaho is already through to the Fab Four. One of 3 #1 seeds still alive. Jake Omer for 3. 31 points for Jake Omer. He's the first to hit the 30 mark in Kansas City this year. Malone, foul on the floor. Rashad Bishop in style. Jake Omer now has made 7 out of 10 3-pointers. Georgetown as a team outside of him, 1 for 7. Malone shooting 2 with Grace in the double bonus. First one's off. Second one's off. Georgetown can build the lead further. Omer has to hoist something, leans into Stoltzfus. Almost got it to go anyway, and it's out off Rashad Bishop. Another part of this theme here at the NAIA final site in Kansas City has been the big leads coughed up. Jacob Gibbs underneath Wadding, swatted by Cam Brooks Harris. Another chance for Gibbs, another chance for Wadding, and a foul. The only other #1 seed to go out, William Penn, had a 13-point lead that evaporated. Grace had a 13-point lead, and it has evaporated. Rashad Bishop, Jake Omer, the Georgetown bench is loving it. Tigers by 12.
It's easy to get caught up in emotions around, oh, I feel good, or I feel like I'm getting better, or I feel like I'm getting worse. But having data, big data, over a long stretch of time allows you to actually see your work come into fruition in the form of progress. It just allows you to create create a better perspective over your progression. To ignore it entirely is doing yourself a disservice because it's a resource that's available to you.
Hometown ticketing makes it fast and easy to buy tickets on your school's website or in the new Hometown Fan app. It's simple. Just search for your school, buy your tickets, and they'll be right there in your account, ready to be scanned when you get to your event. Download the Hometown Fan app today.
There are two key moments in any college journey: when an acceptance letter arrives and the day the college education is paid off. And College Ave Student Loans is with you to help cover costs along the way. We offer stress-free private student loans for undergrads, grad students, for parents, even loans to refinance your existing loans. Whether you're starting college, already in the workplace, or just trying to figure things out, turn to College Ave and breathe easy.
Georgetown up a dozen with 4:56 to go in this second half. Two more free throws coming for Grace in the double bonus. Jake Wadding will shoot them. He's made both of his free throws so far. Kyron Jones back on in place of Rashad Bishop. He has been the man in the second half for Georgetown. 15 of his 20 points since the break. Jake Omer has added another 10 to his total in the second half. He has 31. The highest scoring individual effort in KC this year. And all of a sudden, Grace has gone very cold at the free throw line. That's 3 straight misses for the Lancers at the stripe. Elijah Malone missed both. Wadding has one more. So that's 3 big points left at the line. The 11-point game, a long way to go. If Georgetown does advance, the Tigers will be the first team into our 7 o'clock game Friday night, and the third member of the Fab Four in 2023 alongside College of Idaho and OUAZ. That's an offensive foul. It's a delayed whistle, but Kyron Jones put his shoulder down into Wadding. That's a pretty easy one. It's the third personal foul on Kyron Jones. Only the 4th Georgetown turnover in the game. 35 minutes, Georgetown has turned the ball over 4 times. It's a big part of the reason that the Tigers have attempted 62 shots from the field and the Lancers only 46, despite the fact that Grace is +4 on the boards. Inside Jacob Gibbs, he's fouled by Cam Brooks Harris, who just picked up his 5th. So Cam Brooks Harris is finished. He has fouled out of both games Georgetown has played now in Kansas City. He did it in only 18 minutes yesterday. He might have done it in fewer today. Jacob Gibbs gets the first. He has made 5 out of 7 at the line, counting that one. Grace has been there often. And not shot a bad percentage, 72%. But every point counts right now for the Lancers, down by 9. Drew Lamont back on, 22 in black. He has 4 fouls for Georgetown. One starter, Cam Brooks Harris, has already fouled out. Here's Tay Dozier. Jones wants it. Cade Gibbs on him. 7 to shoot. Doubled by Wadding. Lamont for 3. Rattles out. That was halfway down for Drew Lamont. Jacob Gibbs on the run. It's knocked out of bounds. Last off, Omer. Big possession for Grace. Stoltzfus pops out. Spins free. Finds a rolling Scott who's fouled. 24th foul called tonight against Georgetown. Just 14 on Grace in the game. The other thing working for Grace right now, and I've always wondered if teams might consider just using this, especially if it goes to somebody who's not a great free throw shooter. They've only been called for 7 fouls, so 2 more that would still be 1-1. What I mean by that is, if you give your 8th and 9th fouls when guys are shooting, they're going to shoot 2 anyway. 1-1 is sort of an advantage, especially at the end of a tight game. It really maximizes the nerves on the first shot. Scott misses the second. So Grace still trails by 8. I'm not sure there's really a poor enough free throw shooter for Georgetown that you would do it. Probably Kyron Jones. Omer to Lamont. This one won't drop either. Jones follows, won't go. And the rebound corralled by Stoltzfus. 2 great chances for Georgetown. Wouldn't go down. Scott fouled by Lamont, and Drew Lamont is fouled out. Drew Lamont will join Cam Brooks-Harris, anchored to the bench for the remainder of this game, which likely means true freshman Rashad Bishop will have to finish at center for Georgetown. Georgetown's taking a long time to put somebody else in this game. Here comes Rashad Bishop. So 2 free throws for Ian Scott. Anyway, just to finish that earlier point, I think if I were Scott Moore, I would be really tempted at this stage to say, when Kyron Jones catches the ball, somebody's going to foul him. And if we put him on the line for 2 1-and-1s, we think that's going to benefit us. The likelihood that he comes away with more than 2 points out of that is pretty low. And we'll take that. The coaches don't generally do that. 6-point game. Grace is clawing its way back at the free throw line. 10 missed free throws for the Lancers in this game. Again, haven't shot a bad percentage. They're at 73% as a team, but a few more would really tighten this thing up. Wadding has 4 fouls guarding Jones. Omer cut off by Jacob Gibbs. Omer has been on fire in this game. 7 threes. He wants an 8. Left it short. Offensive rebound by Jones. It's loose. Wales comes to get it. Stoltzfus all over him, almost at midcourt. 6 to shoot. Wales breaking down Stoltzfus, takes a bump, double team, throws it up, and a shot clock violation. Wales wanted a foul, didn't get it. Grace has it back with 2.5 minutes to go. Stoltzfus checks out, Frankie Davidson back on. 6-point lead for 3rd-seeded Georgetown, trying to get back to the Fab Four for the first time since winning the national title in 2019. The 1-seed Grace trying to become the 2nd to lock in a spot in the Fab Four. Scott run over by Omer and a foul on Georgetown. That's Omer's 4th personal foul. If Grace can force overtime, this is going to be problematic for the Tigers. 2 starters have already fouled out. Jake Omer and his 31 points have 4 fouls. Kyron Jones has 3. Only 1 player for Grace has more than 2 fouls. That's Jake Wadding, who comes off the bench. First free throw won't go for Scott. Just not as good at the free throw line as they were in the early going. Grace made 10 of its first 11 free throws. Since then, 17 out of 26, which is not bad, but not nearly as good. 11 missed free throws. Grace trails by 5. Jones brings it up against Wadding. Still 7 fouls on Grace, so 2 more 1-and-1s available for the Lancers to give if they want to. Jones. See if he goes back to that mid-range. Here it is. and it goes down. Scott, that was a flop. Got away with it. Banged into by Omer again. Wadding drives. He is fouled. Count the basket. See who gets the foul. If it's Kyron Jones, it'll be his fourth. It's Rashad Bishop. That's his third, but it saves Jones from his fourth. Big shot by Jake Roddick. Wadding has made 3 of 4 at the stripe. And he's the 5th Lancer into double figures. Frankie Davidson has 9, the leading scorer for Grace. A balanced attack. 4-point game inside 100 seconds. Kyron Jones, cut off by Wadding, doubled by Scott. Still Jones. He's stripped by Cade Gibbs. The Lancers come the other way, but Jacob Gibbs can't keep it in bounds. Grace's 14th turnover, and that has been part of the Lancers' undoing. 6 turnovers for Georgetown, 14 for Grace. Would have been a chance on the fast break to cut it down to a 1-score game. Omer attacks, bumped by Wadding, who's fouled out. That's 5 on Jake Wadding. He has played really well down the stretch, but he will have to sit down. Frankie Davidson ready to return. Elijah Malone is coming back on as well. Jake Omer is going to be shooting 2 here. With 66 seconds to play. Omer has made all 4 at the line tonight. Senior from Taylorville, Kentucky, a 77% free throw shooter for this season. 32 points. Timeout on the floor. 32 points are a season high for Jake Omer, who went for 31 against Freed Hardman in January. Transfer from Western Kentucky. Getting his opportunity to star for the Tigers. Timeout called by Grace. Omer has 1 more free throw to come. It feels like 2 things. Some missed free throws for Grace, which again, you hate to harp on it. It's just that they bend at the free throw line so much. They've attempted 40 free throws in this game. But that could have been enough to keep them in it. And it sort of has, but it could have been enough to boost them even more. And then that turnover. It was 84 to 80. The Lancers were on the run inside 80 seconds to go. A bucket there, and you cut it down to a 2-point game and really turn the pressure up. Instead, they turned it over. 14 turnovers, not a terrible number for a game, but to be -8 in turnover margin is tough. Omer gets both. He's going to check out to protect him with his 4 fouls. 33 points for Jake Omer. Nobody has had more in Kansas City this year. Jacob Gibbs wants to drive, goes over Wales, offensive foul. It's a costly turnover. And it's the 9th team foul against Grace, which means when the Lancers give a foul here, Georgetown will be shooting 2 instead of 1 and 1. The Lancers are going to need to force a turnover or two. Cade Gibbs was into the back of Tay Dozier. The Grace bench can't believe it, but from our angle, I thought that was a good call. And isn't this how it goes as an official? The Grace bench came to its feet saying that's not a foul. The Georgetown bench came to its feet saying that's an intentional foul. It should be 2 shots of the ball. That shows you the officials probably got it right playing the middle, huh? Tay Dozier, 3 of 4 at the line. He has scored an ultra efficient 17 points tonight. 6 of 8 from the field. He's made his only 3-point attempt. 4 of 5 at the line. He's added 6 rebounds and 4 assists. It's unfortunate for him that his thunder has been completely stolen by Omer and Jones. But Tay Dozier has been fantastic. 33 for Omer, 22 for Jones, 18 for Dozier. Nobody else has more than 4 points for Georgetown. Cam Brooks-Harris, 4. Drew Lamont, 2. Jaquay Wales, 0. That's the rest of the starting lineup aside from Omer and Jones. Omer and Jones combined for 55. You add Tay Dozier, you get 73 of Georgetown's 88 points. And why wouldn't they be dancing on the Tigers' side? 8-point lead, 57 seconds to go. Meanwhile, for Grace, a 31-3 season looks on the verge of coming to a close. Do want to mention Hagen Neff, freshman for Grace, who has not gotten to play at all this year, battling a stomach cancer that has forced him to have some really serious surgeries. He went under the knife for 22 hours at one point, caused him to drop about 40 pounds. It was discovered in preseason practice, and he never really even got to be part of this team early on in the year. He wasn't himself going into the season and has been away from the team while getting treatment. But Hagen has been able to be back with the team, at least at times, since January. He surprised them when they were in Indianapolis for a road game. Off the mark from Davidson, a tie-up. The arrow favors Grace, so the Lancers will keep it. Since he surprised them in the locker room back in January, they hadn't lost 13 straight wins, a streak that looks like it's going to come to a close here in the quarterfinals. But certainly our thoughts are with him and his family as he continues to fight his cancer. And the outlook is better and better for him as time goes by. And a lot to be encouraged about for a Grace team with only 1 senior in the rotation, coming off a phenomenal season, the best in school history, at least since the transition to merging divisions. And the most successful season they've had since reaching the Fab Four in 2013 in Division II. Maybe all the way back to their only Division II national title in 1992. 31 wins. Doesn't just happen. Kyron Jones at the free throw line. He's 2 for 5. He's looking like an all-tournament player. So is Jake Omer, of course, but Kyron Jones just stuffing the stat sheet. 45 points and 27 rebounds in 2 games for Kyron Jones. That is silly. 10-point game. Lancers just about out of time. Davidson. Stoltzfus. Skip pass. Stolen, and that should be all. Final 30 seconds. Dozier keeps it in. No, he doesn't. Don't think that can upset Chris Briggs too much. It's only the 7th turnover all game for Georgetown. What a performance. Jake Omer pulled him back in it late in the first half, but the Tigers have played phenomenally well since then. It has not been an individual effort. At minimum, it's been 3, Omer, Jones, and Dozier, who have done it for the Tigers. This will be their 30th win, and they will move on to the Fab Four Friday night, where they will await the winner of our final quarterfinal game this evening. Top seed Arizona Christian and number 2 seed Indiana Tech. That game will get underway 20, 25 minutes after we finish up here. 23 6/10 to go. Georgetown by 8. And the most decorated program in the history of this tournament will be back in the Fab Four. The Tigers have been waiting a long time to get back to KC. You see the bracket. College of Idaho and OUAZ will play first on Friday. Then presumably Georgetown against the winner of ACU and Indiana Tech. Ultimately, College of Idaho is looming. Arizona Christian, the only team to beat the Oaks this year. A fantastic season for Grace, even if it comes to a close in the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, for Georgetown, we talked about it last time the Tigers were even in Kansas City was 2019 when they won the national title, their third in program history and second under Chris Briggs. 2020, they felt the favorites, and they were the favorites as the #1 team in the country to repeat. Tournament canceled. Since then, a couple of first-round exits, which have been deeply disheartening. You talk to people around the program. Sure, it was only 4 years from 2019 to 2023, and one of them was COVID. But by Georgetown standards, that is an eternity to be absent from Municipal Auditorium. They are glad to be back, but not just glad to be here. There is an agenda for the Tigers. Rashad Bishop. Pass knocked away. Dozier can't keep it in. The Georgetown Tigers. They trailed by 8 against Langston in the first half yesterday. Came back to win by 14. Malone from way downtown, he got it. Dozier, they're trying to foul, but that is all. The Georgetown Tigers, from 8 down in the first half to win by 14 in the round of 16. Tonight, down by 13 in the first half, they storm back to win by 7. Chris Briggs and the Tigers dancing out of the Fab Four for the first time in 4 years. For Grace, it ends here. Scott Moore and the Lancers have much to be proud of. And certainly it would not be a surprise to see this roster mostly intact back in Kansas City next season. One more look at the bracket before we say so long until our final game tonight. A second 1 seed has gone down. All 4 made it to Kansas City. 3 made it to the quarterfinals. A maximum of 2 will move out of the Fab Four. College of Idaho, OUAZ, and Georgetown are in. Only 1 spot left for Arizona Christian and Indiana Tech. Hope you will join us for that one. We'll be on the air for it in just about 20 minutes. Tip around 7:25 Central Time tonight. The Georgetown Tigers from 13 down. The pedigree shining through. 32nd consecutive NAIA tournament. 3-time national champions, and they are still marching on, looking for a 4th. 33 from Omer, 24 from Jones, 18 from Dozier. And Georgetown moves to the Fab Four with a 7-point win.